Yesterday game was horrendous, bro. I mean, it was bad, bad. I mean, this one might be one for the ages, bro. I can't even lie. The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. I mean, they got their issue off in a major way, bro. I mean, there was countless of times I could literally look at the screen and know.
What if I told you the real MVP of the WNBA isn't a player, but a referee with a personal grudge and a whistle hotter than a jalopy go? Buckle up, because the footage we just uncovered makes reality TV look like Sunday Mass. Caitlin Clark didn't just get fouled, she got robbed, and the evidence is messier than a toddler on spaghetti night. You won't believe what this ref did, and yes, it's all caught on camera.
So lads, today the referees gave the report on the situation, and it's even worse. It's even worse than I imagined, and it was pretty grim. Like, it was a pretty grim overall slam. Like, it was a pretty grim overall.
Watching the WNBA and seeing how things are run, seeing how things are done, and after you've seen what it looks like to get it right, and you come in and see something looking really wrong, you're going to call it out. It is what it is. You're going to be critical of players if they do something shady or classless. You're going to call.
Once again, the whistle shrieks not for a foul, not for a travel, but apparently for daring to exist as Caitlin Clark. Let's face it, this isn't basketball anymore. It's a poorly written drama where the refs double as over-the-top villains, between the invisible fouls, missed hits, and whoops. Guess I didn't catch that elbow. The WNBA officials have gone from game regulators to unruly agents of mayhem with whistles in hand.
I wanted to share with you guys an article that I found that honestly gives us so much insight into the WNBA referees, how they are hired, how much they make, and there's one section that really stood out to me, and they break down essentially why they are making the calls that they make, and they also talk about the influx of new fans flooding to the WNBA. They talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit. This article to me was really telling. It actually came out in January, but it was published by SB Nation, and it's entitled How WNBA Referees Are Scouted, Trained, and Held Accountable.
Crowd isn't puzzled anymore. They're drained. This isn't drama. It's a slow motion takedown. Shady officiating isn't just spoiling games, it's bleeding the excitement out of a league that should be gaining momentum. Fans show up for real competition, not some referee-led circus. It's like watching a baking show where the judges cut the power mid-bake and then blame the chef for the disaster. And Caitlin Clark, she's the chef, smiling through clenched teeth as her dream dessert melts into a soggy mess on the floor.
With what they say coming into the season, you know, Kathy was made it her business to let them know that, you know, referees is going to be getting assessed for this next season to make sure they're making the right, proper calls. Man, at this point, we need NBA refs all the time, bro. I don't want these YMCA, junior league, high school ass referees, bro. We need real life refs because as of right now, they're costing the Indiana Fever.
Be honest, Caitlin Clark doesn't just look tired. She looks drained. And not that played 40 minutes. Dropped. 30 inches kind of tired. This is that deep, soul-sucking fatigue that hits when you realize you could score 60 and still get hit with a charge for blinking too hard. She's carrying a franchise, a league, and a huge chunk of the women's basketball fan base on her shoulders, and meanwhile, the refs seem more focused on making sure her shoelaces are knotted together every time she touches the ball.
You remember the lopsided officiating that we got last year? The All-Star break comes around, the Olympic break rolls around, and then what did we hear from Lynn Dunn? Lynn Dunn goes on the Dan Dockage show, and she calls out the officiating. She calls out the referee. She calls out the WNBA. The lopsidedness that is being shown, not in favor of the Indiana Fever. Clear biases when it comes to foul calls. The clear biases when it comes to not calling foul calls. Last year, it took us.
Of course she's frustrated, who wouldn't be? Imagine being a lead at your craft, showing up night after night, performing miracles, only to realize your toughest opponent isn't wearing the other team's jersey, it's the refs in stripes. Somehow blind to real fouls, but quick to whistle her for simply moving. like she's breaking some unwritten no success allowed rule. The way Caitlin Clark is being treated isn't just unfair, it's absurd. Like she's stumbled into a universe where logic took a vacation. And Coach Stephanie White, she didn't just lose her cool. She practically gifted it to the cosmos. She looked like she was auditioning for a chaotic reboot of Asterisk, whose line is it anyway, except every scene was her reacting to yet another outrageously bad call. She was pacing, shouting, and turning redder by the second, a living, breathing thermometer of pure injustice. At this point, the refs weren't even pretending to be impartial. They were out there riffing like it was open mic night at the Jab.
Holistically, I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to appreciate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history, or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA.
There's no sugarcoating it. Caitlin Clark is being treated like she's committed some crime against basketball when all she's done is bring the game back into the spotlight. The WNBA wanted more visibility. Congrats, they've got it now. But the referees, they're squinting at the spotlight like vampires caught in sunlight, panicking under the weight of the attention they never expected. Fans are watching, replays are everywhere, and questions are flying. Every bad call turns into a meme within seconds, with Twitter breaking down every flop, every denial, every mind-boggling whistle in slow motion. And somehow, it just keeps getting worse. Caitlin pushes for a fast break whistle blows. She steals the ball clean violation called she even breathes too hard in the paint technical foul. Meanwhile, the other team is practically reenacting a UFC promo and getting nothing but high fives. It's like the refs got the wrong rulebook and thought the WNBA was some kind of choose-your-own-adventure, where Caitlin always ends up in detention. No matter what move she makes, it's not just bad calls, it's psychological warfare. These rookies play with the calmness of seasoned vets, all while carrying a target on their backs the size of
sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. Now, they also brought up Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. We actually made a whole video about that as well because there were some suspect calls at the end of that game, and a lot of people felt like the WNBA Finals were.
Every time Caitlin tries to rise, there's someone ready to shove her back down, sometimes literally. Meanwhile, Coach White's sideline antics are quickly outshining the game itself. She's become the unofficial voice of reason, if reason came wrapped in red-faced yelling and clipboard-flinging intensity. You can almost hear her inner voice, screaming, "Are you serious?" every couple of minutes. She protests with such fire, it's a wonder she hasn't been micked up and handed her own post-game therapy show. And honestly, who could blame her? Watching your star get hacked like an Amazon password without a single whistle would drive anyone to the edge. Yet, instead of celebrating her fierce defense of the team,
It took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, I've had enough. It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, you know what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay. Game 2, okay. Game 3, alright. But today was the last straw when it came for Stephanie White. The New York Liberty get to the free throw line 32 times. The Indiana Fever this season have a discrepancy minus 31 when it comes to free throws.
That happened. Why was JC Sheldon's foul upgrade to flagrant 1? In the judgment of the officials, foul by Sheldon was unnecessary, contacted Caitlin Clark's face. Furthermore, there was a wind-up and impact, and contact to face carries potential for injury. How did you come to the conclusion that is a flagrant 1? How did you come up to the conclusion that it was unnecessary, there was a wind-up, and it was to the face? The three of them that is a flagrant 2. By definition, you